Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Movie Blues. Have you ever seen a movie trailer that just captures your imagination? A preview that makes your brain go up in sparks like a fireworks accident in the hood.
What you doing, Terry? Terry, what's
But then you see the actual movie and you can't figure out where things could have gone so horribly and tragically wrong.
Yeah.
I'm gay.
Today on the show, we're going to be discussing the movie trailers that rocked you, followed by the films that upset and disappointed you. Well, not disappointed you, disappointed me. The video's going to have my opinions in it, not yours. Yours can go in the comments. You see, sometimes even movies that I love have had trailers that outshine the finished film. Ridley Scott's Prometheus had a trailer that basically flipped my whole entire world upside down. It proposed questions about the alien universe that I hadn't even thought to consider in my lifetime of obsession with the franchise. The visuals, the music, the whole vibe is so deeply mysterious and boundlessly epic that it would be hard for any actual film to measure up to it. And I am absolutely obsessed with Prometheus. I mean, here I am holding the Prometheus with an arm that has a tattoo sleeve of elements from Prometheus. Fuck with me. But I'll be the first to admit that the finished film just couldn't hit the heights and imagination-probing effect of the initial trailer. Same with Star Wars Episode 1. There may be no greater example of a culture-morphing trailer than the one for The Phantom Menace, which made two entirely different generations synergistically pre-cum their pants. And then the film came out. Which I love, but it's an acquired taste. And a taste that like 500 million people hurriedly spit out of their mouth.
Is that what them? That's what them eggs people ate.
But forget Prometheus and Star Wars Episode 1 for now, because today on the show we're going to be looking at films that upset and disappointed me that had amazing trailers, not ones that kind of liked and enjoyed. So let's take a look at some seriously great trailers for films that could never live up to the potential and hype. In 2014, the BVS Comic-Con trailer was the shot heard round the mouth-breathing, neck-bearded world. A simplistic 50-second teaser of two brooding autistic psychopaths having a staring contest on a rooftop on a rainy Gotham night. Batman was in his Frank Miller Batsuit fit, the music was brooding and intense, the visuals were spot on, and the trailer for this movie did exactly what the trailer for a movie called Batman v Superman was supposed to do. Show Batman v-ing Superman. I mean, what could go wrong? And the Comic-Con crowd truly ate this shit up. I mean, how could you not? This was fulfilling the dream of thousands of comic book fans. But for the rest of us who had girlfriends, this was fulfilling the dream set up in 3 seconds of Will Smith's I Am Legend.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
And so the movie came out and did the exact opposite of what this trailer did. Buried in nearly 3 hours of murky, boring, convoluted nonsense, there's finally a 10-minute fight with Batman and Superman that literally has Batman tossing in the kitchen sink, and ends with two men secretly in love with torture crying face-to-face about their mommies. BVS sucks and is the devil, but most importantly, it somehow fumbled the easiest premise of all time. They should have followed the same kind of simple, breezy plot found in better Batman v Superman media like the animated movie World's Finest. All you needed, Zach, was a compelling reason for Batman to fight Superman, and then to create a 2-hour movie expanding on what we saw in that 50-second teaser. But you just couldn't do it, could you, Zach? Instead, you gave us a controversial and exhausting 3-hour slog, and a movie that hinges on a jar of piss. And only a few months after this Comic-Con BVS teaser came out, a trailer would be released that would change the course of history forever. For the worse. This was the beginning of the end.
Chewie, we're home.
Force Force Awakens trailer is a masterclass in emotional manipulation and commercialized mental warfare. This trailer was pumped up with nostalgia like venom into Bane's bloated brain. And you know what? It worked. It almost worked on everyone. I mean, you had to be a real jaded psychopath not to get the feels from watching this one.
Chewie, we're home.
But you weren't home, Mr. Ford. You never got home. You divorced your wife and died before your best friend committed suicide. And then your ex-wife died and then flew through space and then survived, but then died in real life and then became a CGI ghost monster and then died again. The Force Awakens trailer was awe-inspiring. It promised to kick off a new generation of Star Wars stories that looked and felt like the ones we grew up with. And that was ultimately the problem with The Force Awakens. It looked and felt like the movies we used to love. It wasn't them, it couldn't be them, but it looked and felt kind of like them. And that is principally the issue with this movie, and why it brings not much else to the table at all. Unless you count the many various characters and plot lines that were squandered by this movie's direct sequel, the worst Star Wars film of all time, The Last Jedi. The Force Awakens was okay at best, but after the lore ruination and boneheaded decision-making of The Last Jedi, I can barely stand to even watch The Force Awakens because its ultimate stakes have been deflated like the boneless girl from that drug commercial. Another great movie trailer that changed the course of cinematic history, followed by a film that couldn't live up to the hype and potential. But if you think that this is all something that started in 2016, you are sorely mistaken. There have been incredible trailers for dog shit movies going all the way back to my childhood in the 90s. Or your childhood too, I don't know, if you're somehow older than me. The art of the great movie trailer was arguably peaking in the 1990s, with this absolute unit for Godzilla in 1998. They first ran this beast before showings of Men in Black in 1997, and this was peak civilization, my dudes. We had it so goddamn good. This trailer included no actual footage from the real film, and it cost $600,000 to direct and produce. And yeah, it was also directed by Roland Emmerich. This trailer is so awesome. It's moody, uncomfortably obsessed with Jurassic Park.
During the Jurassic period.
And the museum in New York on a rainy night during a monster attack thing in the 90s reminds me a lot of The Relic, and that rules too. This trailer sets up a tense and terrifying movie that was anticipated the world over. The hype on this movie was absolutely so real. I mean, look at all of this shit. They don't do this kind of shit anymore, man. Where my country gone? And then the movie came out.
What did you think about Mayor Ebert and his sidekick, Gene?
I thought that seemed petty.
Yeah, I did too.
It does seem petty, Roger. I mean,
and had it never come out, it would be one of the greatest concept trailer movie tee-ups of all time. But again, it did come out. I can't undo that. And it sucked. And it wasn't tense. It wasn't moody. It was a bad movie that I still watched plenty of times and had a lot of fun with, but a movie that I always knew down deep was quite terrible and mostly a huge disappointment to the world at large. And when they weren't going all the way out of their way to film a mini-movie just to trick people to come into the theater, studios in the 1990s were busy making great trailers to movies that straight up did not exist. Take this teaser for Alien 3, for example. Very cool. Very reminiscent of the first Aliens promo campaign. But wait a second.
In 1979, we discovered in space, no one can hear you scream. In 1992, we would discover on Earth, everyone can hear you scream.
Wait up. Hold the phone.
On Earth. On Earth.
So that was a fucking lie.
Teasing that the next Alien movie would be the first one to be set on Earth without a director, without a script written. I mean, that's some straight up sadistic shit. That would be like if the next Godzilla movie trailer was like,
in 1954, he destroyed Japan. In 1998, he destroyed half the cast of The Simpsons. And in 2002, Godzilla will travel to the moon. The Nazi space moon.
And then the actual movie comes out, and it's not about space at all. It's about Godzilla getting gang raped by a bunch of British Cockney prisoners on a prisoner planet. Brutal. And this wasn't the only Alien trailer to promise more than the film could possibly deliver, because in 1996, when the trailer for Alien Resurrection came out after 5 long years of waiting, it looked like an absolute banger. I mean, after I'd seen this teaser, I had my mom call me out of school ahead of time so I could see this movie on opening day. I mean, this is some pulse-pounding shit right here. This trailer made Alien 4 look like a brutal, intense, non-stop thrill ride. I mean, the hype from this trailer was so insanely real. Alien Resurrection was yet another major 90s event film with a nerve-shredding trailer. And yeah, what we got instead was like Glenn Danzig playing basketball with Hellboy in the weirdest, grossest, accidentally funniest, and sloppiest entry in the entire franchise. I mean, I loved director Jean-Pierre Jeunet. The City of Lost Children was one of my favorite movies growing up. And the guy had an obvious eye for visual flair, but woof, this movie is a tonally mismatched, brown, boring, and hilarious mess that I watch more as a kink than anything at this point. Alien Resurrection killed the Alien franchise in one foul swoop. But it wasn't the only franchise killer from the 1990s that just happened to have a bangin' preview.
There's a surprise around every curve.
Hot off the heels of the criminally underrated Bond film The World Is Not Enough, I had really high hopes going into Pierce Brosnan's next and biggest Bond film yet. So the teaser trailer for Die Another Day set up an action-packed, colorful, and unique palette for this next iteration of the James Bond series. I mean, just look at this teaser. It's beautiful. We get the friggin' iced-up PP-7 exploding and then transitioning into Bond doing a 360 drift over an ice cap. Oh man, the action in this movie looks insane and not at all embarrassing. This looks like it's going to be a true banger. And then we saw Die Another Day, and it was the Batman and Robin of the James Bond franchise.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Too corny, too silly, and somehow less believable than the previous film, which had Denise Richards playing a nuclear physicist named Christmas. Turns out the geniuses at MGM cut together a crackin' trailer for this piece of shit. Which just goes to show that no matter how window-licking your movie is, there can be a great trailer buried deep inside of it. And that sentiment has persisted into the modern age, where whipping up manipulative and favorable movie trailers to absolute stinkers has become fairly commonplace. Take the first full trailer to Zack Snyder's pivotal monument of garbage, Man of Steel. The first two teasers for this movie were scored with generic trailer slop music, but this first full trailer for Man of Steel used Hans Zimmer's excellent score for the first time to tee up a movie brimming with hope, overflowing with sentiment and positivity, and simply bursting with energy.
My son was in the bus.
This trailer was uplifting, and it got your blood pumping, and it didn't at all hint at a movie where Clark Kent's dad commits suicide in a tornado, just to make a moot point about heroism to his 30-year-old high school-aged son with a receding hairline. Whoever cut together this great trailer had obviously found all the inspiring and patriotic imagery in the entire film, which amounted to about 2 minutes out of 3 hours, and cut it into an incredible trailer. It's a shame that the finished film wasn't this hopeful, patriotic masterpiece, but instead was a dour, confusing, boring, and borderline lifeless mess of a movie that, even more horrifyingly, would end up being one of the best entries in the entire DCEU. The same year that Man of Steel came out, another movie studio shat out an incredible trailer for a shitty movie. A movie that was greatly anticipated and ended up being about as well respected as Jussie Smollett.
Why do you think you were targeted? I can just assume. I come really, really hard.
Star Trek Into Darkness had a cracking first teaser, setting up this dark and foreboding shift into the series that felt like The Empire Strikes Back for this new JJ Trek franchise. This was back before Benedict Cumberbatch became a living meme.
I smell you. I know the smell and taste of dwarf.
I come really, really hard.
And his presence in this trailer was straight up terrifying.
So, shall we begin?
This teaser promised a darker, edgier, and more mature Star Trek film, and what we got was more terrifying than any Cumberbatch voiceover could prepare us for. Star Trek Into Darkness was a steaming pile of reheated leftovers. A movie that managed to completely character assassinate Khan as a villain, as well as destroying the characters of Kirk and Spock along the way. Like you know you fucked up when your entire movie is remembered as a single meme. You know, one thing I've noticed while researching this project is simply how many times J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot's names keep coming up on the list. A lot of people think that trailers for Super 8, Cloverfield, The Rise of Skywalker, and anything else Abrams ever touches tends to have a better trailer than the finished product itself. And I think that's because mystery box storytelling is just such great fodder for decent movie trailers. There's nothing like selling the central mystery of something that's going to have absolutely no payoff. Like the 2015 movie Tomorrowland, written by Abrams' collaborator and Lost showrunner Damon Lindelof, which had this amazing teaser trailer.
I've never...
This thing is just so mysterious, so full of questions and mysteries while also functioning like its own mini-movie. Then friggin' Batman shows up at the end like he's the architect from the Matrixes and boom, Tomorrowland, baby! And while this trailer generated huge buzz around the movie, it was a film that instantly fizzled upon release. I've seen this movie twice now, and I still cannot tell you anything that happens in it outside of this teaser trailer. I don't remember anything else about it other than it being extremely boring and me basically falling asleep while watching it. The power of a good movie trailer can sell a film as the most intense experience you'll ever have in your life, only to be followed by a big, gray, murky nap for 2 hours. Godzilla 2014's Halo Jump teaser trailer is a goddamn masterpiece. I mean, you can't fathom or produce a better trailer than this. I was convinced upon seeing this trailer that a new era of cinema had begun, a new time of glory and brutality that could potentially usher us into a prehistorically fucked kaiju-based movie future that would last forever and conquer our souls for eternity. By presenting this Halo Jump scene almost fully uninterrupted, Gareth Edwards teed up not just a great action movie, not just a great Godzilla movie, but the greatest fucking monster movie ever created by man. And I really enjoy Godzilla 2014. I mean, I really have convinced myself that I enjoy Godzilla 2014, but holy shit, that trailer went so much harder than the movie itself, and even fans of the movie can probably admit that. Godzilla 2014 is a chief offender in the trailer to bad movie paradigm, with all subsequent trailers after this pitching the movie as a Bryan Cranston vehicle, which it surely was not. I mean, this shit is just not fair, man. I wanted Walter White v. Godzilla, and instead we got like 21 and a half minutes of Bryan Cranston and like 9.5 minutes of actual Godzilla action. In a movie about how Kick-Ass was a deadbeat husband to Scarlet Witch. To this day, movie trailers are still overselling the quality and manipulating the tones of the movies that they're meant to sell. Despite its trailer, no, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull doesn't turn out to be some true return to form for the Indiana Jones series. I mean, it was better than this shit, definitely, but still. No, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania did not turn out to be some sublime, psychedelic, micro-comedy masterpiece, despite this trailer's best efforts and the appearance of Bill Murray as if he's actually in the fucking movie. And to the 25 movies a year that come out that say they're the scariest films of the year, the scariest film since The Exorcist, or they're saying they're the next Hereditary, and then they end up sucking. I'm looking at you too. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below what movie trailers have blown you away over the years only to lead to massive disappointment. There are so many of these, I probably could have made another 40 minutes of this video, but I wanted to leave it up to you guys this time. What movie trailers have you seen that really just knocked your socks off only to then have the movie put the socks that are dirty back on your sweaty feet? Let me know, like this video, give the channel a sub, and until next time, I am DS Lyons at the Movie Blues, saying bye.